Welcome to the market recap presented by Tackle Trading. Get in the game.
Good afternoon, Tackle Traders, and hello, YouTube. This is Frank, Tackle Trading. Hope everyone's doing well today. Coming at you with just a quick market recap and look ahead into tomorrow. So those of you joining us on YouTube, welcome. And those who catch it a little later, I hope you enjoy it. This is my first go-round, so be gentle. Not a tremendously impactful day in the market. Most indexes dropped a little bit, although the Russell, interestingly enough, had a pretty strong day and has formed a cup and handle pattern formation going on as we currently speak. So that resistance level on the Russell will certainly be something to be keeping an eye on. Obviously tomorrow, but my own personal thoughts are kind of in the week to come. As we kind of take a look at the rest of our indexes, sell off a little bit, and again, nothing dramatic or major within the S&P and within the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ as well. So kind of just one of those days, but really interesting that the small caps had a pretty strong day amidst a whole lot of not buying. So interesting day for the dollar as well, where we've been, as you guys know, we've been consolidating within a range on the dollar for a bit now. We actually pushed through that earlier in the day and then kind of sold off throughout the rest of the day, kind of closed in about at the top of that old breakout point. So kind of seeing how we react. Is this a breakout? Is this a fake out? It's hard to get excited about that candle, for me at least. But at the same time, I'm always excited when I see something break resistance. So to me, that's something I'll be very interested in personally in going into tomorrow. Another rough day for the metals, gold, silver, copper, all kind of had a rough go of things, continuing their recent downward trends. We'll see how she goes. But I know some gold traders are looking at around 12 for a support level. But really, I don't know any gold traders. I know a lot of gold bugs, gold buyers that are kind of waiting for an opportunity. And that seems like, to me, that's where maybe the majority of them are kind of pointing at as far as something that they're watching for. We did have a pretty nice day in the energy market. We did have a little bit of follow through, if I can show you here, from yesterday's upward movement on oil. It doesn't want to show, so I will give it just a minute and try to entertain you in other ways. So yeah, here's our silver. You can see they really, no metals had a great day, but silver really had a rough run of things today. And for those of you who haven't used the Market Skyline and the Trade Center on the Tackle Trading website, it's a great place, in my opinion, to kind of come in, get a quick overview of what happened in the market as we're kind of getting ready to go in, manage any existing trades that we have, identify what areas we may be looking to want to jump into for potential bullish or bearish setups going into tomorrow. But again, another little nice follow through off of that bottom that we formed here a couple of days ago on crude. Natural gas actually had an okay day too, going into tomorrow's rig count. So that will definitely be something all of the natural gas traders are keeping an eye on. Now, I would imagine tomorrow morning, because it's been a pretty rough go for natural gas lately as well. So sectors, definitely a couple of interesting things. A lot of, to me, in the sectors today, kind of mimicking the overall market. You saw things like tech and healthcare kind of just hold kind of onto their old breakout points, just kind of hanging around, not too far off from where they were here yesterday. We did have some follow through, of course, in crude, and also that trickled into our XLE energy sector. Started to see a little bit of upward movement, although it definitely lost some momentum as the day progressed. No doubt about that. Real estate, very strong. And I know those of you who tune into the Tackle Trading Halftime Report, we talked about this over the last couple of days. had been a very strong sector overall. We had seen a pretty sizable retracement over the last several days, pulled back into that old breakout point, and had a little bit of a bounce yesterday, and of course a tremendous follow through here today in the real estate sector. Real estate and utilities were definitely the biggest winners overall in the trading day here today. A couple other things that are really interesting, at least to me, is the industrial sector is for 2 days in a row testing the average that you see here is our 200-day moving average. That can and doesn't always, but certainly can and does sometimes act as a level of resistance. It's definitely acting as a challenge for the industrial sector right now. So for me, that's definitely a very interesting price point. That's a big fight in my personal opinion. Although those of you who know me know I'm a moving average guy, so that probably doesn't surprise you at all when you hear me say that. Similarly, but a little wonkier, is the financial sector. A couple of the financial companies came out with earnings today. American Express, Bank of New York Mellon, and didn't seem to kill it. And so after pushing through the 200 with a lot of momentum yesterday, here we are on the wrong end of it here again today. So pretty bearish candle off of that right now. Speaking of earnings, Microsoft came out right after the bell closed. I didn't have a chance to dig into its report, but they did beat expectations in earnings per share and revenue. And when I checked a little bit ago, they were about 70 cents or so in the after hours. But that was pretty much right after the report was issued. So that will be something to watch. We have a lot of tech companies coming out with their earnings here next week. So that will be kind of just like pretty much every earnings season, one of the dominant stories going on in the market. Speaking of earnings, obviously earnings have a tremendous impact on us as traders. I know that a lot of folks around here do this, but just in case you do not, a really great way to look ahead into tomorrow or next week's earnings is just in the FinViz screener. If you go into the earnings date, and we'll just go for tomorrow. And of course, there's going to be there's a lot of companies out there, right? So I'm going to be a little pickier in what I'm doing, and I'm going to go for anything over large cap, over 10 billion on the market cap. Looking at tomorrow, headed into tomorrow, we're starting to see some of the oil companies, Baker Hughes, Schlumberger coming out, still wrapping up a few of the financials. So some pretty big names coming out with their earnings tomorrow. But I think for lots of traders, and I know for me, I'm always looking for this next week. And this next week is where we see a ton of the big tech companies come out. You can see just next week, all the way into 13 pages. We're not going to go through them all, but jumping out at Amazon right out of the bay. You see a big, Amgen, pretty darn big company as well. AbbVie. So a lot of earnings are yet to come in the upcoming week. So look forward to that. We did see IBM gap to the upside on earnings this morning. We saw eBay gap to the downside on earnings this morning. I know all traders, investors have different ways they like to handle earnings, and to each their own. I always just want to make sure all of us understand when those announcements are, so we can make the right decision, or the decision that we feel most comfortable with, at least going into that earnings report. Pretty light news day tomorrow. Like I said, we do have the Baker Hughes rig count for natural gas traders and energy traders, maybe take a look at, but pretty light news day going into tomorrow. With that, I thank everybody for their time today, and I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow. This has been Frank at tackletrading.com. Have a wonderful evening, happy trading, and see you tomorrow.